out of 21, 248 yards. And a couple of touchdown tosses. Rogers, 9 out of 15, 120 yards. He's had a touchdown toss as well. And we mentioned that Hayden Fry was the third winningest active coach in Division I, behind Bobby Bowden of Florida State and Todd Blacklich's old coach, Joe Paterno at Penn State. And look at the schedule. Bowden, Fry,
Miami
Holtz
will receive the opening kickoff here in the second half.
Skillett will kick off, and back deep for the Hurricanes. Spencer is 35, and Kevin Williams is 5 to the near side. Here we go, quarter number 3. Skillett bangs it low, and it's dribbled by Williams, picks it up at the 11. Out to the 20, the 25, crosses the 25, and wrestled out of bounds at the 28. So the Hurricanes start from their own 28-yard line. Carlos James on the stop for the Hawkeyes. Former player Todd Blackledge from Penn State. How important is the first series to start the second half? What does that do in terms of setting the momentum?
It doesn't necessarily dictate what will happen for the rest of the game, but it does make a statement. It makes a statement that how your team intends to play the last 30 minutes of the ball game. I think this is a big defensive series for Iowa. They started the ball game with a good defensive stand. It's important for them to do it here too.
Erickson gives it off to McGuire. Convoy around the right, bangs it across the 30, keeps the knees turning up to the 34. Merton Hanks was just hanging on.
Number 45.
McGuire has had a real busy night already tonight in this Miami offense, doing the bulk of the ball carrying for the Hurricanes. And he's a load when he gets going. 5'11", 215 pounds.
The ball just shy of the 35-yard line. Darren Handy, the senior center, brings them out. Erickson bends in, works with McGuire. Stephen, big hole, right side, opened up by Claude Jones and Leon. 17 Triple E Searcy. Eddie Polly, the right corner, coming at you.
Number 18, Doug Book.
McGuire's wanting out of the ball game, point to his shoulder, but he has really been running the ball well. Great offensive line blocking. Picked up another block by his wide receiver, Lamar Thomas, and I think he's surprising Iowa with how successful he's been able to run the football. There you see it, 13 carries for 69 yards and a touchdown.
He had 11 carries, 51 yards in the first half. Conley's in there, and he's in motion, bottom of your screen. On 1st and 10, Erickson dumps it off. He's got Conley, and the Hawkeyes have him. Moses Santos, the first Iowa Hawkeye to arrive, number 99.
Tackle was made by number 99, Moses Santos.
Moses Santos had 14 tackles for the Hawkeyes last week against Iowa State, and that time they rushed 3 people, they dropped into zones, and they forced Craig Erickson to dump the ball off. Then when the receiver caught it, they came up and limited the game with a good solid tackle. And that's what Iowa has to do to slow this offense down.
Motion by Conley. Flood to the left. They've got 4 wideouts. Erickson picks up the blitz, dumps it off, bounces it at the 44-yard line, looking for the tight end, Randy Bethel.
Erickson's pass was intended for number 93, Randy Bethel.
Bethel, a big tight end with 4.6 speed and great leaping ability, but here he needed a first baseman's glove.
Here's Melvin Foster on a stun. He lined up outside and then came in on a stud up the middle. And when Miami rotated and motioned their back out of the backfield, they only have 5 guys to pass protect. Iowa came with 1 or 2 more guys more than they could pick up. Foster forced an early throw.
Bethel and Crum should both get back in there. Conley back to the line of scrimmage, so it'll bring up a punting situation. And the nose tackle, Rod Davis, made the hit. You know what Hank Stram likes to say about playing nose tackle? Like a convoy of dogs at a fire hydrant at a dog convention. You know, that everybody comes there at the nose tackle spot. Now here's Snyder. I've not seen too much of Paul tonight. Haven't had to. Hawkeyes try for the block, don't get it. Snyder hangs it high, and back at the 15-yard line is Doug Book. A 37-yard punt, and there was no return. Great specialty teams coverage by Rusty Medeiros.
The return of the punt is 1 yard.
We've got 12:51 left to go here in the Orange Bowl. 24-14 is our score. Miami on top over Iowa. And this copyrighted telecast of the football game between the University of Miami Hurricanes and the University of Iowa Hawkeyes is presented by the authority of the University of Miami and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of ComSat Sports. Matt Rogers back to pass on 1st and 10 from his own 16, fires deep, caught at the 37-yard line. John Falloon.
Rogers' pass is complete to number 82.
The walk-on. He came in with 5 catches. He's been bothered by knee injuries. He only played 5 games as a sophomore, but watch 82 here and a great leap.
Miami is playing a zone defense. You see the cornerback turned him over to the deep safety. Then he tried to roll back and make a play. Hurley Brown, the safety, number 8, was late getting to the play, and Falloon made a nice catch on the sideline.
2 receptions, 44 yards. He had 1 for 23 in the first half. 1st and 10 Iowa from the 37. Pitch back. It goes to Stewart. Nothing. A lot of orange jerseys. 2nd and 10 coming up. Bailey, the cornerback, came up first. Rogers now 10 of 16, 141 yards and 1 touchdown.
2nd down and 9 from the 38-yard line.
Darren Crine is in there, the freshman at the middle linebacker spot, but Crum warming up on the sideline. Over the middle goes Montgomery to the 43-yard line in the grasp of Eric Miller. Eric Miller has had some kind of night tonight.
Number 34,
great first half.
Montgomery.
He really has. As you see Mo Crum getting some treatment on the sideline, getting his ankles strapped up a little bit. You know, we were mentioning in the first half, everyone knows about Miami being quarterback U, but they've turned out some great defensive linemen. 3 first-round picks in the last 4 years. That's quite a statement.
A couple of defensive backs. How about Benny Blades? 3rd and 6 from the 42. Very slow developing play. There's a penalty flag. That might be why. Stewart in the grasp of Anthony Hamlet, number 97. Coaches say that Hamlet simply has a nose for the ball. He excels on specialty teams. He was the man we told you in the first half recruited off his raw athletic talent out of Atlantic High School in Delray Beach, where he played for Coach Steve Petty. I think at 56, Michael Barrow, the sophomore out of Homestead, Florida, was clipped on the play. Watch 56, playing middle linebacker now while Crum is out. Let's see if we can see the clip.
4th down for the Hawkeyes.
Boy, I don't know about that.
I don't know. I think they actually called holding, and I'm not sure where they called the penalty, but I don't understand that call, Jim. It's 3rd and 6. They're at midfield, and they tried just a dive play to the tailback.
High sack, back to punt. High, towering kick. Fair catch signal 4th and 9 at the 24-yard line by Wesley Carroll. We've got 10:43 to go in the 3rd. A 35-yard punt. There was no return, and that's pretty effective when you've got Wesley Carroll on the receiving end. Even though Matt Rogers' passing statistics were not overwhelming, they said, look, this is a young man that's got a good arm. They saw that against Iowa State. If you look at the future schedule of the Hurricanes and what an ugly October they've got to get ready for. But they were impressed by Rogers' ability.
You know, defensive coordinator Sonny Lubick told us in a meeting with him that Rogers reminded them of the Cal quarterback, Mike Pawlowski, who had a big day against the Hurricanes 2 weeks ago. And Cal came into that game as a running football team. They were predominantly a run team, but they altered their game plan and went to a more wide-open throwing, and he had a great game.
Hill, Thomas are the wideouts. Erickson, the quarterback. McGuire, a lone running back. Craig Erickson with the audible now. McGuire moves up to the tail. Just an out pattern. You bet. Wesley Carroll out of bounds, 34-yard line.
Erickson's pass is complete to
Eddie
number
Polly over there on
81,
the coverage.
Wesley Carroll.
Now, if you're a quarterback, you can start to work on the corners a little bit when you've got the speed to throw to of Wesley Carroll and Thrill Hill.
Teams have to respect the speed and the breakaway ability of Hill and Carroll. Again, Carroll lined up in the slot. It's tough to double him in that spot, and he comes off the ball. He's got a two-way go. He can go in or out, and he sizes up that defender and has him beat.
Almost a free play. It's 2nd and 1. They'll keep it on the ground. McGuire. First down for the Hurricanes. Fumble, and the Hawkeyes say they've got it.
McGuire is the ball
Terry
carrier.
Monk is the official, the referee. Big pile up near the 40-yard line. Boy, this would be a huge break for the Hawkeyes. Their offense is already out there. They're having a rugby scrum down at the bottom of the pile. And the Hawkeyes have it. At the bottom of the pile, John Derby, number 31.
John
There he
Kirby,
is.
Number 31 is credited.
Third turnover for Miami, and really they have self-destructed themselves on offense. It's a good run. It's starting out to be a good play. McGuire is taking it. The offensive line is just stretching it. There's Searcy and Claude Jones, and he's picking up 5 or 6 yards, and the ball is just pulled out right there. Derby alertly falls on it.
So the Hawkeyes start from the 39-yard line of the Hurricanes, down by 10, backpedaling on first down. Rogers caught at the 25-yard line. A great leaping catch by John Falloon, and that from up here was such a bizarre play because there was a towel thrown up in the air that looked for a time like a penalty flag right in front of Falloon. Let's see if you can see the towel that goes up on a crossing pattern.
Again, first down, they went straight drop back. They brought a blitz, and Falloon just gets in the middle. There's a soft area in that Miami zone. Rogers does a nice job staying in there and making the throw. He knows he's going to get hit by Shane Curry.
Did you ever get hit like that?
I've been hit several times, but as a quarterback, you know you have to stand in there and take the blow.
Now, you're moving the ball so well through the air. You've got the defense a little confused by throwing on first down. You go back to the running game, and you get stuffed. Anthony Hamlet, 97, got there first.
I think for the rest of this ball game, Iowa has to throw more than they run on first down. Miami's giving them some openings in the passing game on first down. They're really geared in to stop that run on the first down and on the second down, you know, definite running situations.
Rogers, the middle's wide open in the end zone. No! Hughes had it and then lost it.
Rogers pass.
Great throw by Rogers. He waited, then he stepped up. And that was what concerned the Hurricane coaches. We said, was he weak? They said, no. He can make something happen.
He does a nice job feeling the rush. He doesn't necessarily lead the pocket, he just feels the rush and steps up and tries to get it to Hughes to make a big play. Hughes has great jumping ability. You have Falloon crossing by the sidelines, his underneath receiver. He wanted the touchdown, but then he turns back and says, Matt, you could have had me down to the 5-yard line.
From a quarterback standpoint, as we're looking, Roland Smith slow to get up, the man they call Patty. Give the folks at home a little bit of a checkoff on how quick you've got to look at the primary, then the secondary, and then the third receiver, and the time frame that Matt Rogers has to do all that.
Well, basically everything happens in under 4 seconds. I mean, if you get 4 seconds, that's great pass protection. Most of the time you're working in the realm of 3.5 seconds. And you've got bodies flying around you. You can't afford to look at defensive people rushing. You've got to just feel it. You've got to be able to feel the rush and move around in the pocket. And you see Rogers did a nice job stepping up. He wants the touchdown. He wants to get the Hawkeyes right back in this ball game. He thought he had it. He gave Hughes a chance. You know, sometimes that's what you have to do. You know, wide receivers are normally better at catching the ball in a crowd than defensive backs are. They have the ability to jump up and make the play.
That was Eric Miller, number 95, on the sideline. They are working and stretching. You saw that graphic quickly on total passing yardage. So it's now Kevin Patrick who will back up Eric Miller. He'll wear 86.
What they're doing on Eric Miller right there is he's got cramps. You can tell when they lay him and straighten those legs out and start pulling back on the toes, he's got cramps in his legs, and that's something that's a real factor when you play down in a place with this kind of humidity like in the Orange Bowl.
Big third down play here for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Rogers at quarterback on 3rd and 10 from the 25 of the Hurricanes. Hawkeyes down by 10. Straight drop, middle's open, crossing pattern, Balloon. It's 1st and goal, but there's a penalty flag back at the 28. This one's coming back.
Holding Iowa. Repeat 3rd down.
The holding penalty against the Hawkeyes.
This has been open most of the night.
It may have been the same play that he tried to throw to Hughes the play before. There's the flanker going to the post. It is the same play. Balloon's running a little crossing route. He gets in underneath the deep pattern, and he's wide open. It's an unfortunate break. They had the 1st down. They were down around the 10-yard line.
Well, a big offside penalty in the first half against the Miami Hurricanes kept one drive alive for the Hawkeyes, but that one would have been 1st and goal from the 8. Balloon comes out wide to the left. Hughes, top of your screen. It's 3rd and 20. They fake the draw. Rogers steps up. Wide open in the end zone. Touchdown!
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. The helmet came off, but the ball stayed in. Sean Smith. Look at the Hawkeyes come off the bench.
I don't believe that, Joe. 3rd down and 20.
Receivers should not get that wide open when you're ranked number 10 and when you're playing at home. That was just a coverage error, and Sean Smith, great concentration to look that ball in. Terrific effort by Matt Rogers to find the open receiver.
Did you see Hayden Fox shaking Matt Rogers' hand and say, hey, just like we drew it up the other day. 3rd and 20, let's go for the bomb.
Sean Smith, his first touchdown. He only had 2 catches coming into the game. Skillett cuts that margin ever so closer. 24-21. The Hawkeyes have drawn to within 3. Let's take a look at the secondary now from the wide look.
It's 3rd down and 20. All you want to do is play safe zone. Let him make a catch underneath, and then limit the gain. Don't let him get the 1st down.
Safety let him go. He was
The
looking
safety
for
was
help.
looking back and thinking the pass was going to come shorter. That's unbelievable. I mean, that is a major, major breakdown in the Miami secondary.
Now watch the senior out of Inglewood, California. There he goes by the safety, looks for help in the corner. Watch the helmet come off, but Sean hangs on to the ball. He wasn't even listed on the 2 deep at spring. He missed spring practice. As a junior, he only played in 4 games.
Matt Rogers, 3rd and 20, gets the touchdown, makes a good throw. Kind of hog-tied and wrestled down there by Shane Curry. But I'll tell you what, as a quarterback, you don't even feel hitting the ground or a player hitting you when you come up with a touchdown like this. What a big play. Rogers again steps up in the pocket, throws with a man in his face. Unbelievable play.
The Hawkeyes have drawn to within 3. A great effort there by Sean Smith. Here's the kick. Williams at the 15. Look out. To the 35-yard line. Tripped up there by Greg Brown. A 21-yard kickoff return. Sean Smith still accepting the high 5. There's our score, and there's the time left. And the terrific replay sequence on that Sean Smith touchdown catch shows you why Ted Nathanson and George Finkel have all those Emmys down there in the truck.
We do have a great crew. I'll tell you that for me, just getting into this business, this has been a real experience for me to work with them as well as yourself, Jim.
McGuire, the lone running back. Erickson wants to get that touchdown back. He's got all day. Now out of the pocket. And he will do the Pete Rose slide to the 45. Close to 1st down yardage. Brian Wise made the tackle secure.
And brings it out to the 45-yard line.
The Hawkeyes were A 23-point underdog. They trail by only 3. 7:53 left to go in the third.
You know, it seems like they're just barely like hanging on by the skin of their teeth. It seems like Miami is just about ready to take control of the game, to put it out of reach. Then they come up with a turnover, and they score on a big play. The screen pass to Nick Bell was a big play, 53-yard touchdown. Then this play on 3rd and 20, just when it looks like the Hawkeyes are going to fold up and go home, they jump right back in the ball game. It's really showing a lot of character for this football team.
2nd and 1, just shy of the first down. A virtual free play here for Erickson. They give him a lot of room as far as audibilizing, don't they, Todd?
They do, and they've had this situation quite a bit tonight, 2nd and very short. And as an offense, you love this situation because the defense has to respect everything. A lot of times teams try to throw the ball deep on 2nd and short because they know they can come back on 3rd down and run the ball for the first down. Gives you a lot of flexibility when you're in this kind of a situation. And Craig Erickson with this offense with him.
7:55 minutes.
So they're putting
25
seconds on the clock on that new $2 million scoreboard that weighs 15,000 pounds and features 7,200 light bulbs and whose sound system measures 15 feet by 58 feet.
And it is loud.
He's deaf by the time you get out. 2nd and less than a yard, just shy of first down yardage was Erickson, but now they've got it and more. The knees kept churning. Stephen McGuire, a 7-yard pickup. Hanks hanging on.
This is just all Stephen McGuire and his strength. He gets a couple good blocks right there at the line. Leon Searcy comes around with a big block, but he just breaks tackles. That's more than anything else. That's bad tackling by the Iowa defense. And Stephen McGuire, like you said, Jim, just kept his legs going and moving forward.
All right, now, you say bad tackling. Are the Hawkeyes defensive players getting a little worn out? They've been out there most of the game.
That may be a factor. They need to wrap this guy up.
Huge hole on that right side with Claude Jones and Searcy again doing the blocking. Eddie Polly over the back to finally make the hit.
They ran the counter trap again, and here's Melvin Foster. He took a little cheat step there. He tried to beat the block to the inside, and he took himself out of position. But he didn't give up. He kept chasing and finally got in on that tackle, McGuire. You saw him jump up. He tried to beat the block. He actually jumped himself out of the play right there.
From the 29, 1st and 10. Hurricanes lead the Hawkeyes by 3. Penalty flags are down. Now, when you're a coach and you start to see holes like that open up, maybe you suspect that here in the heat and the humidity that your players are getting tired. You try to get some fresh bodies in there, even if it's just for 1 or 2 sequences.
Dead ball. False start. Miami. No first down.
Daly, the man that moved.
I think you try to do that. You would hope that your second line players are good enough to fill in and that your productivity doesn't drop off too much. Hayden Fry knows that he needs to make some substitutions, but with the game on the line like this, he can't afford to let his production drop off too much. If that means he has to keep first liners in, he has to hope those guys can suck it up and do it.
From the 34, it's now 1st and 15 as they flood the left side. McGuire in motion. He's got 100 yards on the ground and a touchdown. He's wide open. Erickson found him. Out of bounds at the 25. Merton Hanks.
McGuire is run out of bounds by 45. Merton Hanks.
McGuire has been showing us all night what he can do running the football. This time they motioning him out of the backfield, left no backs in the backfield, and had 4 receivers on that side. They ran the 3 guys on the line of scrimmage off into the defensive secondary. McGuire just stood over there on the sidelines as an outlet.
2nd and 6 from the 25. The stats on Erickson: 13 of 25, 271 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Slot to the right. Copeland and Carroll. Trap blocking left side, and there goes that man McGuire again. Inside the 15, tripped up at the 13 by Eddie Polly. Watch the blocking by Mike Sullivan, 79, the senior out of Chicago. He's on the left side of your screen.
They're ripping him right now on this counter trap. There's Sullivan coming in the hole. They pull the guard in the tackle. You see Rob Chazinski, the tight end, 84, comes across and pins the linebacker in the hole. That's great blocking, and they've really been effective with that counter trap play here in the second half.
1st and 10. They spotted just outside of the 13. Boy, this is an impressive drive by the Hurricanes after the Hawkeyes had clawed their way back to it in 3. McGuire again.
This is the kind of football game everybody expected Iowa to come into the play. Line up and just play smash mouth football. Miami's just taking it to Iowa. McGuire almost lost the ball, bobbled it there a little bit, but he is really getting some good momentum going towards the line of scrimmage.
Thrill Hill wide left as they flood the left side. In the slot, Lamar Thomas and Wesley Carroll. Erickson looks over, 2nd and 2. McGuire, touchdown Hurricanes. Man, Carlos Huerta continues his streak, and we're back to a 10-point lead for the Hurricanes over the Hawkeyes. 5:22 left to go in the 3rd. Sullivan again will lead the play, the senior out of Chicago.
It's the same play that get into politics.
Well, you know, both of his parents were born in Ireland, and they never had even seen a football game until the early 1950s when they moved over to the United States. Now they've got their son graduating from Miami and perhaps pursuing a National Football League career. He's the best blocking lineman that the Hurricanes have. And there's Stephen McGuire, his 5th touchdown of the year, his 2nd of the night. We're back to a 10-point lead. Antilla, 81 to the far side. Backpedaling. And oh my, no, don't cross that line. That is very close. His toe almost touched the white line.
Jeff Antilla, he's a freshman. I think he just wanted to get into the action. Danon Hughes, that happened earlier. Hughes told him to stay in the end zone on an earlier kickoff, and he brought it out anyway. He almost did it again there, and that could have been a big mistake.
So Matt Rogers checks in. 12 of 19. Watch how close he comes. Watch that left foot. From the 20-yard line, Rogers, 12 of 19, 190 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Barrow still in there for Crum. No safety valve it out. Montgomery. And he breaks it for a 1st down across the 30, upended at the 34 by Mark Caesar.
The number 34, Lou Montgomery.
That was a great cut by Montgomery. They had him hemmed in on the sideline. Again, 1st down pass, straight drop back.
Is credited with the tackle.
Rogers just dumps it off to his fullback. But here's a case where you throw the ball 3 yards, and he makes a great cut, beats 2 defenders, and turns it into a 12-yard gain. You don't have to throw the ball downfield all the time to make good gains.
Quick count. They give it to Montgomery. Look out. He broke 1 tackle at the 35 and was finally tripped up near the 38-yard line. Anthony Hamlet, 97 on yet another tackle. Hamlet and Miller, 97 and 95 respectively, have done a terrific job tonight for the Hurricanes. Miller, they're currently working on a hamstring over on the sideline. And as far as 49, Maurice Crum, the middle linebacker, is concerned, he's got a tender ankle after spraining it early in the 1st half. Lou Montgomery, 3 carries and 10 yards. Kajawa in there, 23, along with 43 Bell. 2nd and 5, Rogers sidelines it, 1st down in man more at midfield, bumped out at the 47-yard line. Kujawa.
Again, they dumped it off to the fullback. Rogers, play action fake, good pass protection by the Iowa offensive line. Didn't see what he wanted downfield, dropped it off to his fullback. You see, he makes the fake in there into Bell, gets good protection, doesn't like what he sees downfield, dumps it off to his fullback, and he turns it into a first down.
4 catches, 20 yards on the season for Kujawa as a freshman. He excelled on specialty team and short yardage situations. Rogers misfires at the 30.
Rogers' pass was intended.
Matt Rogers is okay. They were looking for Sean Smith, who had the last touchdown reception. And Darrell Williams was back there on the coverage.
With the Miami.
You can see that Iowa is going to more passing on first down here in the second half. And I think
beating Rutgers. 2nd and 10 from the 49. They safety valve to Bell. Bell bangs his way across the 40 out of bounds. Darrell Williams was there, and that's close to first down yardage again.
I think he got it. Depends on the spot, but he did a nice job. He saw that first down marker and used his strength to get to the line.
What happened to Matt Rogers, number 7?
He just flipped it out. Boy, that was very close to being a late hit.
Williams was the tackler.
Anthony Hamlet.
He was 11 yards.
Looked like he was shot out of a gun.
Where Iowa has a 1st and 10.
3:43 left to go in the 3rd. 31-21 Hurricanes.
Dump it.
Look out. Hamlet got his hands in there. That could have been picked off. 97 again.
Rogers' pass was intended for number 21.
Let's take a look now at the junior out of Delray Beach. 4.6 speed.
He's just going to rush the passer. He gets hung up there a little bit on Baxley. Can't get to the quarterback. Gets cut. Jumps up. Kind of reads the play. Gets a big arm up and knocks that ball down. That's a credit to him not quitting.
What happened to Matt Rogers from the other side? Kip Vickers. Better hurry. Oh, what a collision. Kujawa and Darren Smith. Smith snips it out. Now Rogers is getting a little too cute over on the right side with the safety valve. He's been going there time after time. He's got the wide side of the field and hasn't done anything with it.
Well, he's too slow. It's just too slow getting him the football. This Miami defense has such great speed. He just came up and beat the block of number 21 Stewart there. They're really putting some pressure on Rogers right now. He's lucky to get this pass off before Anthony Hamlet put him on the turf.
Hamlet right now is giving Rob Baxley a clinic. Partially deflected, incomplete. And a flag. We're going to have roughing the passer.
Rogers' pass is in.
They had a hurricane sandwich going on back where Matt Rogers was.
It's either going to be that
95, Eric Miller, Mike Caesar, 76. What? Holding against the Hawkeyes. Well, you make the call.
Holding. Iowa. Penalty declined. Play 4th down.
They'll decline the penalty. And now on 4th and 11, do you go for it?
No, there's still plenty of time left in the ball game, right? You know, it's the same deficit right now as it was when they went in at halftime. They're playing a good football game. Miami just kind of got after them in that particular series and really used their speed to a great advantage.
Steve Brault out of Palatine, Illinois, is the long snapper. Hysack hits inside the 10, and it goes in for the touchback. And out of the end zone comes some paper cups and some other debris. A 39-yard punt. 2:36 left to go in the 3rd. The Hurricanes over the Hawkeyes by 10. Now it's Jim Johnson. Erickson to air it out on first down. Was it a catch at the 37? Yes. Wesley Carroll. Nice diving effort right in front of the Hurricane bench. You know, I go back to the drill we saw at practice the other day. They've got a machine called a jugs machine, J-U-G-S, that can fire footballs almost like a baseball machine at a batting cage. They can control the speed, they can control the height and the trajectory, and they can work out and get 20 or 30 reps for the wide receivers in a space of 5 or 10 minutes. And it's a great drill, and it gives the players a lot of practice without ruining your quarterback's arm.
Well, Wesley Carroll certainly gets a lot of work. That time he just beat the man-to-man coverage, and it was a mismatch. He was working against Leroy Smith, who is a defensive end.
Conley in the grasp of number 57, Matt Rulin.
Matt Rulin, number 57.
Rulin, who tied for 4th in the Big Ten in tackles for loss last year.
Second down at 8, number 37.
General Studies major. They expected a big game from Rulin and needed one from Jim Johnson. Jim Johnson told us when he got off the bus yesterday before the practices, no, we're not intimidated by coming in here. We don't read the papers. We don't know we're a 23-point underdog, and that's how they played. Keep clawing their way back into it. Straight over the middle. Conley again in the grasp of Leroy Smith. I want to show you that jugs machine and how it works. This was at practice the other day.
Jim Johnson.
You see how quickly they can load and fire?
Well, that does a couple things. I mean, one of the best things it does is saves quarterbacks' arms. You don't have to have a quarterback, an actual physical body doing this, and you just get great consistency. The ball goes the same place, you know, with a slight margin of error time after time.
Well, what reminded me of it was the diving catch. I mean, they can adjust and they can shoot the ball knee high. They can make the receivers stretch out and jump up for the ball. I mean, it's great drill. Oh, nice cut at the 45. Conley again and Foster again, 66 on the stop. Now the word from the Hurricane bench, Maurice Crum has re-injured the ankle. So we'll see the punt team on 4th and 3, and barring a flag, this should be the last play of quarter number 3. We've got a dandy going here on Comsat Sports. Hope you're enjoying it tonight. Live from the Orange Bowl. The 10th ranked Hurricanes in their home opener. They led 14-0. Their lead is just 10 as the third quarter is coming to a close. Paul Snyder is the punter. Doug Book is back deep. Book wants the fair catch, and he'll make it and then drop it, and the Hurricanes have it. A 35-yard punt fumbled by Book. And down at the bottom of the pile in the orange jersey will be number 91, Darren Prine.
The punt is recovered by number 91, Darren Prine. The Hurricanes have a 1st and 10.
Iowa was going for a block punt, and so Buck was just making a fair catch. All he wanted to do was catch the ball. Couldn't hold on to it.
Miami Hurricanes 31 and the University of Iowa 21. Ladies and gentlemen.
4th quarter following that fumble off the fair catch by Book. Hurricanes have a 10-point lead. They've got the ball just outside the 18-yard line. And you kind of get the feeling that if Miami gets 7,
Ladies and gentlemen, check the block.
it's going to be a long 4th quarter for that man.
Well, that was really a big turnover because Iowa had just come up with a big play on 3rd down. Melvin Foster made a big league play, stopping Leonard Conley short of the 1st down, forced the punt, and then the turnover. Of course, Miami's had 3 turnovers tonight themselves, and Iowa has taken advantage of that. Let's see what Miami can do with the misfortune of Iowa.
Greg Erickson will be at quarterback, one of only 7 University of Miami players who have made 2 trips to the White House in the past 3 years for recognition as the national champs. His father, Neil, was a backup quarterback at Northwestern under Ara Parseghian. And Craig's grandfather, Charles C. Hartwig, was an All-American guard at the University of Pittsburgh back in the mid-30s. You talk about bloodlines. McGuire's in there at the running back spot. Thrill Hill wide to the left. Williams and Carroll top of your screen. McGuire hammers his way down to the 16, stopped by Melvin Foster, who's played a sensational game.
McGuire stopped by number 66.
Miami was just coming back with the counter trap play again. This time Foster's lined up on the end of the line. He beats 2 blocks and gets off and makes the tackle on McGuire.
Going into this season, Melvin Foster, 66, tied for 21st on the Iowa Hawkeyes all-time tackle list with Bobby Stoops out of Yates High School. His high school team won the state championship. They went 16-0 one year, and in that 16-0 season, there were 9 shutouts. Erickson on 2nd and 8 from the 16, behind Carroll.
That may be the worst pass that Craig's thrown tonight, Jim. He's really thrown the ball pretty well all evening, and you see him kind of looking at his hand there. That's an old trick quarterbacks do. When you throw a bad pass like this, you assume that the ball was wet or you had a bad lace on the ball. It had to be something wrong to cause you to do that.
You've got Leroy Smith, the defensive right end, covering Wesley Carroll. There had to be a mix-up on coverage. You should not have a defensive end back in the secondary covering somebody with Carroll's speed.
Well, he's got linebacker size or defensive back size. He's not an oversized guy, but it's still a matchup. You need your best cornerback on Wesley Carroll.
Oh, they had Thrill Hill, and it was too late, but this is Wesley Carroll. That's just a breakdown in coverage. Dennis Erickson with his arm around Craig Erickson. Wesley Carroll. His 2nd touchdown reception of the night. And the Iceman comes out, hoping to make it.
And the kick is up and good.
Well, let's take another look. Watch how much time Erickson had. First, from a wide zone standpoint, you can see Thrill Hill is open up in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, and Carroll comes from the left side.
I think what happens here is the Iowa safety man is going to slip. Right there, he slips, and Carroll just slips in behind him at the back of the end zone. And it wasn't necessarily a breakdown in coverage, just the safety who had that deep middle fell down, and it came up with an easy touchdown.
Thrill Hill, 3 is open on the other side. Watch.
Wesley Carroll really didn't think he was open. He was just moving with Craig Erickson.
Clark was the man that fell down, and now the Hawkeyes are on the short end by 17. Comsat Sports welcomes you back to the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, where the hometown Hurricanes have amassed a 17-point lead. That last scoring drive took 56 seconds. Wesley Carroll has caught 2. Craig Erickson has thrown 3. Stephen McGuire has run for 2. There's the scoring drive after Book fumbled the ball on the last play of the 3rd quarter. Hughes, number 3, is back to the far side. Antilla, who almost ran it out from 4 yards deep, is to the near side. End over end, Antilla at the 4. Tripped up at the 34. A 30-yard kickoff return. Now, how does your game plan change? The Hawkeyes have that devastating ground game, but 13:57 to go.
In this drive right here with 13:57 left, they can still stay with their game plan. Mix the pass and the run. If they can't score in this drive, and the next time they get the ball, it's down under 10 minutes and they're down by 17 points, then they're going to have to scrap the game plan and go with more of a 2-minute type offense. But
Rogers
right now,
evens up Montgomery and Stewart. Balloon right. Hughes left. Rogers into double coverage looking for Hughes.
Rogers' pass is
Smith was over there in the coverage.
Danon Hughes was
that's a throw that Matt knows he should have completed. He just kind of pulled the string on it. Sometimes instead of just going ahead and throwing that short hitch pattern to Hughes, you want to try to aim it. You want to just guide it in there. You want to really make sure you get a completion, and you end up throwing a bad pass.
Nick Bell and Montgomery are in there, 43 and 34. One running back. Backpedaling. Rogers blitz is on. Matt steps up. Deep is open, and it is incomplete at the 35-yard line. A sprawling Mike Saunders had a shot.
Rogers was passing for number 32, Mike Saunders.
You know, they really have not used the tight end very much. This is a good effort by Saunders out of Milton, Wisconsin.
It was a nice job by Rogers getting out of the pressure and getting the ball to him as Saunders gave him a try. But I'll tell you what, Miami's defense, and they're playing up there without Russell Maryland right now, who re-injured his foot. This defensive line is really coming after Matt Rogers.
3rd and 10, and they'll be coming right here. Stewart, Kujawa are the backs. The draw play to Stewart. Up across the 40, but he'll still be 3 yards shy of the first down. Michael Barrow, the sophomore out of Homestead, Florida, 56, the first Hurricane to get there.
He runs into Jesse Armstead and Michael Barrow.
Michael Barrow out of Homestead High School, played for Dale Hardy. Highly recruited by Miami and by Florida, and he agreed to come to Miami in that much publicized press conference the second day of signing in '88. His brother played in the CFL and has another brother, Carlos, at the University of Akron. On 4th and 3, the Hawkeyes will give it up. Wesley Carroll wants the fair catch and makes it, but there's a penalty flag to be checked out back at the 35-yard line of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Takes the fair catch.
A 38-yard punt.
Illegal motions, Iowa.
Let's see if the Hurricanes will accept the penalty or take the ball. 13:02 left to go, and that man's team in trouble, trailing by 17. This is the 3rd game of the series with the Hurricanes and the Hawkeyes, Miami having won the previous 2 games. Miami won the initial game back in 1950 by a score of 14-6, and the only other meeting in 1966 was a 44-0 shellacking. Florida State comes in here to the Orange Bowl next for the Hurricanes, and the Iowa Hawkeyes have to go to East Lansing and face George Perlis and the Spartans. 2 tough road games in a row for Hayden Fry.
For sponsoring tonight's game.
You know, Jim Johnson, number 71, a defensive tackle, is one of the captains for Iowa, led the Big Ten in sacks last year. He's been relatively quiet tonight.
Conley's in there at running back. Erickson wants to go up top. On the run, Trohill!
Here comes the dance, fellas.
Watch Thrill Hill get by Scott Plate, number 6. A little juke and goodbye.
You know, Hill has great speed, 4.3 in the 40. He also qualified for the NCAA Indoor Championship last year in the 200 meter. He ran a 21.6, the first Miami athlete to ever do that.
Also got a Tony for best end zone dance. Conley cracks it over the right side. Jones and Searcy. Crane was there for the Hawkeyes. Erickson now 16 of 29, 346 yards, 3 touchdowns.
By number 88, Maria Crane.
Let's see Thrill Hill again. Oh, this is at Conley.
3 yards, 2nd and 7 from the 32-yard line.
Well,
By the seat of his pants.
almost had a moon over Miami here on that play.
2nd and 7. Hurricanes by 17. Conley cracked down at the 32. Ted Bailey got there, the sophomore out of Dubuque.
Conley is the ball carrier.
Well, you mentioned Jim Johnson, one of the 4 captains, number 71, but hey, Dennis Erickson said the other day we can't concentrate on him because their nose guard, the junior Rod Davis, is pretty good too.
Well, he makes a nice play here, just stringing the play out, forcing the ball carrier back to the inside. And that's all he can do when he's fighting his way through 2 or 3 different offensive linemen. But he really knew coming into this game he had to put pressure on Craig Erickson. He had to have a big game, and thus far he hasn't been able to generate much pass rush.
Jim Johnson is only the 4th down lineman in Hawkeye history to get more than 100 tackles in a single season. 3rd and 7. Erickson, who will now have all day. Craig on a comebacker. Yep, first down, and then it's taken away. His own man took it right out of his hands. Darrell Spencer stepped right in front of Lamar Thomas.
Complete pass to 35, Darrell Spencer.
Watch 35 take it away from 36.
Spencer just ran a little out, trying to work with the scrambling quarterback, and then both receivers say, I want another catch.
Miami is first and 10 at the
Spencer got the best end of that.
Flood to the left from the 18. Blocking on that right side by Jones, by Searcy, by Bethel. Leonard Conley. They've given Stephen McGuire a rest. Plate on the hit.
Mike Wells, number 6.
This Iowa defense has to be getting tired right now. You know, the humidity really takes its toll in the fourth quarter. You've played 3 good quarters. You've been on the field a long time. And this is when Miami really takes advantages of teams that come into play here. And they've been on the field a lot this second half.
A 17-point lead. Hawkeyes cannot surrender another touchdown and have any hopes of winning this game. Flood to the left. Thrill Hill is way outside. Erickson out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Eddie Polly pushed him out. Jim Johnson that time, excuse me, Todd, he was the one, 71, the senior out of Forest City, Iowa, that put the pressure on Erickson and chased him out of the pocket.
The fans are booing a little bit here in the Orange Bowl, but that's a good play by the senior quarterback, Erickson. It's a 3-yard loss, but the thing is they've got a 17-point lead. He couldn't find an open receiver, and rather than take a risk and try to throw the ball across his body and make something happen, he just took the loss, went out of bounds. Line it up and play it again on 3rd down.
Coleman Bell, a tight end, number 17, has brought the play in. And they flood the right side. Erickson now will audibilize, and now he'll take a timeout. 10:05 to go in the game from the Orange Bowl on Comsat Sports. The Hurricanes 38, the Hawkeyes 21. But he's not really talked to Bernie since the season started for the Browns. They did spend a lot of time working out together and talking in the offseason. 70,420 have jammed into the Orange Bowl for the Hurricanes home opener. They've won 32 in a row here at home. Those fifth-year seniors have enjoyed a wide scoring margin, 154-18. And it looks like the tradition will continue unless something dramatic happens here. Hawkeyes have to force a turnover. They cannot allow another touchdown. On 3rd and 11, Erickson. Corner, touchdown dropped. Lamar Thomas had it and was stripped of the ball by Brian Wise.
Erickson's pass was intended.
Heads up play by Wise. He was actually beat on the play and just made an instinctive reaction to get his hand up and try to strip the ball away.
Number 27, Carlos.
So with 9:55 to go, as you look, watch Lamar Thomas. He had it, made an effort to come back, and then Wise made a heads-up play and stripped him of the ball.
36 yards.
This will be a 36-yard try. There's Mr. Wise, Brian, out of Tinley Park, Illinois, the junior. Joe Moore is the holder. Carlos Huerta, and yes, it's 41-17 with 9:51 to go. So Huerta has been perfect from 47 and now from 37, and all of his extra points, as you might expect from the man they call Iceman, have gone through the uprights, and now it's a 20-point lead.
Carlos Huerta, 06 for the Hurricanes.
Huerta from the 35. Hughes and Antilla back deep. This one is not very deep. Hughes at the 14. Hughes gets free and gets outside with a stiff arm and another stiff arm. And
Number 3, David Hughes, takes the kickoff.
we saw this afternoon in the Ohio State USC game.
Robert Bailey.
A 32-yard kickoff return. Hayden Fry quickly restoring order.
This is the second time Hughes has done this on a kickoff return. He starts to return to the right, hits into the pile and bounces it out, uses his speed to get to the corner, makes a nice return. Who was that made the tackle there?
Robert Bailey bumped him out of bounds and kept on bumping.
Robert needs to learn that if he's going to tackle a guy that late on the sideline, make sure you do it where the jerseys are the same color as your own. Don't do it over there.
Good field position for the Hawkeyes. They need to score, and they need to do it quickly. They're down by 20. Backs are evened up. Bell and Koo and Montgomery. Rogers backpedaling. Over the middle to Hughes, misfires, and it's picked off at the 10. That's Charles Barnes to the 15 the other way. The 25, the 35, out of bounds at the 40. That'll do it. Watch number 2. They say he's got solid instincts. Out of James Madison High School in Houston. He's just playing center field back here.
Rogers really made an ill-advised throw there. He was trying to make the big play, going for Danon Hughes on the post. Farnes was just playing free safety. He saw the ball all the way. Looked like a receiver catching it over his shoulder.
There it goes to Conley and a crossing up to the 42-yard line. Farms, number 2, I talk about his solid instincts. He's only the second true freshman in 6 years at Miami to earn a starting spot. Defensive tackle Derwin Jones was the other in '84. And the coaches say that Farms is always at the right spot at the right time. He's rarely out of position. Well, he was playing center field and picked off that errant Matt Rogers pass. Conley, 11 carries, 13 yards, and that ball, yes, sir, Charles Farms. Well done.
Charles was happy. He was actually expected to be the starting free safety coming into the season, was beaten out by sophomore Darrell Williams. He's got to be pretty happy with that play right there.
2nd and 7 from the 41. Craig Erickson batted up, incomplete at the 48-yard line. Looking for Kevin Williams, the freshman out of Dallas. Craig says, hey, the ball was right there.
You know, going back to that pass by Rogers, I feel for the guy because I've been there myself. You're in a game like this, you're down by 20 points, you feel like it's an insurmountable lead, but the problem is you don't have to try to get it all back in one play. Hit what's there. You know, try to get as much yardage as you can, and he just tried to go for that one big play, that knockout kind of play, and it ended up costing him.
Hawkeyes played very well for 3 quarters. Then the fumble, the quick score by the Hurricanes, then the quick turnover on the interception. And all that remains now are the final stats. Erickson misfired, picked off by the Hawkeyes at the 42. Up to the 45 and bumped backwards is Hanks. 8:23, 8:22. Well,
I'm not sure if Craig was trying to throw that ball away or if one of the defensive linemen for Iowa just got enough of his hands up in his face and forced that high throw. When it took off from his hands, I thought he was throwing the ball away.
Watch Hanks. It's his 2nd interception. One of the 4 captains. A man who's married to former Hawkeye basketball player Marva Fuller.
He just overthrew him completely. And Hanks made a nice interception on the sideline.
I'm kind of wondering why, when you're ahead by 20 points with 8.5 to go, you're throwing the ball. Aren't you working on the clock a little bit?
I thought they would. You know, they actually threw on 2nd down, too. I was even more surprised that they threw it on 2nd and 7. 3rd and 7. I mean, this offense, it's a passing offense. I can see him going for the 1st down, throwing it on 3rd down. But 2nd down, keep running it with McGuire. He's got over 100 yards.
24-0. That's the Hurricane Sunbelt Heritage Race.
Upstairs, the Iowa Brain Trust on the headset, down to Hayden Fry.
That's Bill Brasher, the guy closest to the screen as we're going away with the gray hair and the glasses. He's the defensive coordinator for Iowa. had a nice opportunity to speak with him yesterday, and he was most concerned with just not giving up the real big, easy play by this offense. And they really have played a spirited game tonight from a defensive standpoint, but they've given up some big plays that have hurt them.
Hayden Fry checking over the playbook. The last one was picked off. The book on Matt Rogers tonight. From the 45. Hughes comes out wide to the right side. Balloon top of the screen. Rogers flings it out to Stewart. Stewart cuts it back against the grain, gets hammered backwards, gets to midfield. A pickup of 5.
Number 21, Tony Stewart, takes the completion from Rogers.
It's been a long night for that man, eluding orange jerseys.
To the midfield marker.
Little extra effort on the tackle there. Rogers says, hey, you just came into the ball game. You got fresh legs and a clean uniform. I've been in here all day. You don't need to do that.
Clock going 7:45 to go. They don't need 5 yards. Blitz is on. Rogers has had it. That Hurricane defense, they can just tee off. 44 is Shane Curry. 56, Michael Barrow. And Kevin Patrick, 86.
Now, this is just a long night for a quarterback right here. They're bringing everybody but the kitchen sink on this one. Curry comes in free. Barrow comes in free. Patrick comes in free.
Third down, 15.
Now it's 3rd and 15. Balloon to the right. Hughes to the left. Tight end, not involved in the passing game. Rogers slipped, bad footing, chased out of the pocket. Down he goes, gets it off. Was he in the grasp? Shane Curry had his arms wrapped around Matt Rogers. Did the referee blow the whistle?
Rogers pass incomplete.
Incomplete. Still no signal from the official.
Shane Curry.
Good defensive coverage by the Miami secondary. He sees got pretty good time. He steps up in the pocket. Then the second time he tried to step up, there just wasn't enough room to go. Tried to make a desperate throw from his knees, which fell incomplete.
Snap is high. Hyzak does a good job to pull it down. Fair catch at the 28-yard line. Wesley Carroll, a 32-yard punt. 6:47 left to go at the Orange Bowl. Hurricanes 21, Hurricanes 41, Hawkeyes 21. And when you speak of the University of Miami, you think of our friends Larry Wall, the Associate Athletic Director for Communications, and it's Carolina's doing here. They don't let Tar Heels down here and treat them very well, do they? Thanks for a great week. 20-point lead, 6:47 to go, and Gino Torretta is in at quarterback. Up the middle goes Leonard Conley. Up across the 42 to the 43. Blocking up front by Handy, by Jones, by Searcy, and those triple 17E shoes again.
Tackles made by
This is just the Miami offensive line taking control of the line of scrimmage. Iowa's got a lot of substitutes in there right now. That first-team defense played a long time in the second half. Hayden Fry's made a lot of substitutions, and this offensive line for Miami is just ripping them right now.
1st and 10 from the 43. Conley motions to the left. Flood to the right. Torretta will pump it up. Gino. 1st down and more across midfield. Nice crossing pattern. Kevin Williams. Torretta came in, the sophomore, out of California. He's 6'3", 211. He'd only thrown 2 passes all year. He was 1 out of 2, 6 yards, no touchdowns and no interceptions. So the book on Craig Erickson tonight, 17 of 33, 360 yards, 3 touchdowns.
When Torretta played last year for Craig Erickson, who was out with the fractured knuckle, he set a school record for the most yardage in a single game, passing yardage, something like 478 yards against San Jose State.
Martin Patton, the freshman out of Missouri City, Texas, number 32. in the grasp of Ted Phelan. And over on the sideline, relaxed, 3 touchdown tosses and a win to his credit, Craig Erickson, and a good tune-up for Florida State.
He played very well tonight, made some good decisions. He was patient. He took what the defense gave him from Iowa. A couple bad throws in there resulted in interceptions. I think that last one, he may have actually been trying to throw the ball away, but he played a good football game. And this is the best part of the game for a winning quarterback. Sit out the rest of the game, have a couple drinks of Gatorade, and tell jokes on the sideline.
2nd and 12 from the 48. Motion by Martin Patton, the freshman. Gino Torretta looks for the freshman. Got him. And a nice move. And finally, trapped at the 43-yard line.
I really don't understand this, Jim. I don't know about you, but I mean, I can understand wanting to get Torretta some work with the offense and throwing the ball, but I don't know. Sometimes you got to think this is a little bit adding insult to injury.
Well, I'll tell you, you're getting ready. I disagree with you because they're getting ready for Florida State. You don't know when Erickson might go down with an injury. You've got to get some work for Torretta. Why not do it right here? They're not throwing deep. It's not like they're trying to really add more points. They're trying to move the football and just give him some work. Try out some of the youngsters in there. As we say that, they'll throw over the middle. At the 30-yard line, Horace Copeland, a sophomore. But again, they're throwing to young wide receivers, giving them some game experience. Because, as we pointed out at the top of the telecast, there were some questions in Dennis Erickson's mind about this team. He said, if we didn't play well tonight, he said, yeah, I'll make some lineup changes. I'll have to. I've got Florida State coming in, and we've got Notre Dame on the schedule all in the next 3 weeks. So they wanted to look at some young people, give them some game experience. And now on 4th and 7, they'll kick it away. Paul Snyder.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jim Hartley at quarterback for Iowa coming in this series. Matt Rogers has played valiantly, but he's really taken a beating here in the second half.
And it goes into the end zone for the touchback.
Snyder's punt.
A 43-yard punt.
Into the end zone.
It has been a tough game, but again, the Hawkeyes played very well for 3 quarters. That fumble by Book on the last play of the 3rd quarter, then the easy score. It took just 56 seconds for the Hurricanes to punch it in. Really cemented things. And here comes Matt Rogers, who stays in there at quarterback. Well, you know the defense is coming. What kind of pass patterns can you work on here?
Well, you can't afford to work anything too deep down the field. I mean, the defense knows they've eliminated half of your game plan right now. It's got to be throw. You want to get back and set as fast as you can. Get rid of the football.
Wide open over the middle. Boy, Mike Saunders. You know, Rogers is a little tired. He's not backpedaling. Of course, he's been chased and hammered and sandwiched, but he's just not backpedaling. I'm not sure the deep drop is what you want to do right here.
He's going to be even more tired now because they're going into their hurry-up offense. But the middle has been open a lot tonight in this Miami zone defense. And at this point in the game with a 20-point lead, they're going to give Iowa a lot of underneath stuff. So he just needs to be patient and take the play.
Hit as he releases the ball, but he finds Montgomery, and Montgomery hammers his way up to the 48-yard line in the grasp of Jesse Armstead. And Rogers gets hit again. Sandwiched down by number 44, Shane Curry. The hurry-up offense. Watch 44 come in right there.
Shane was out there gyrating after this play. He thought he got a sack and got up off the pile and saw that he had gotten rid of the ball.
Clock moving. 3:18. Hurricanes are offside. Were they drawn offside? There goes Rogers. And a flag by the official. Or by the referee.
Dead ball. Illegal snap. Still second down.
Boy, that's really too bad. You get called for a penalty, so the play doesn't even count, and you still get thrown on your backside, and the play wasn't even any good from the beginning. That makes for a long night, Jim, and a long plane ride back to Iowa.
And they have to quickly regroup and get ready for the Michigan State Spartans in East Lansing next week. Hughes out of Bayonne. That picture tells you the story of how the Hawkeyes feel with less than 3 to go. Saunders moves over wide to the right. Rogers with a deep slow drop. They safety valve it out to Titley, the tight end. They pick up 4, but that won't do much good. This is how Matt Rogers has spent the night. In the grasp of orange jerseys, and 80s or 97, Hamlet again was in there.
Well, the only good news for Matt Rogers in the second half is that Russell Maryland didn't play at all in the second half. It would have been even worse if Russell had been in the game all this time.
And they give it off to Bell, and he gets it down across midfield.
Nick Bell carries
Bailey and Curry made the tackle.
For a Iowa
You know, one thing I think that was answered tonight, one question was, is this Miami team looking ahead too much to Florida State? The rematch of the game, the only game they lost last year. They get them here in the Orange Bowl. I think they came to play tonight. They played this team heads up from Iowa.
On 1st and 10 from the 49. The deep drop. Rogers looks, and it is incomplete, batted down by Ryan McNeil.
You see that decal on the Iowa players' helmets, that round yellow decal that says A&F. Hayden Fry is real involved in a lot of community things back in Iowa, has been for several years, and that decal stands for America Needs Farmers, and is real involved in that cause out in the Midwest and wants his players to wear that decal.
Very involved with the Iowa Special Olympics and the Alcohol Awareness Committee, the Iowa Bureau of Tourism, Iowa Council for Better Hearing and Speech. They've got the reverse going to Saunders, and he's got a convoy. Out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Robert Bailey finally bumped him out of bounds. Saunders did not appear in the 2 deep. He didn't have spring practice.
On the reverse, carries for a first down.
You see, they're setting up the reverse. I actually thought that Saunders was going to throw the ball. He has the ball up in a cocked position like he's going to actually throw it. He decided to put it under his arm and take it for a run.
As a sophomore, Mike Saunders had 1,026 all-purpose yards. He played wingback, he played tailback, he played running back, he played wide receiver. He averaged 11.5 yards every time he touched the ball. 1st and 10 from the 36. Quickly, they dump it off to Tony Stewart. Stewart loses the ball. The Hurricanes have it. It's Ryan McNeil. Ryan McNeil with only Rogers to beat. Ryan McNeil will score.
A fumble recovery taken by Ryan McNeil and return.
No flags.
Touchdown.
Jim, I believe they just changed that rule this year in college football that you can pick up in advance a fumble like that. I don't think that was, I've been out of college football. I know that's a rule in pro football, but I think that's a new rule in college football.
The coaches will tell you that Ryan McNeil next to Roland Smith is their best one-on-one coverage man. Made like a track star right there. He went 65 yards. Out of Fort Pierce, Florida, and Westwood High School, where he played his ball for Jim Palla. And Virginia Tech 28. So they'll have quite a crowd. They had 70,000 here tonight. They'll break that next week. There goes Antilla up to the 20. Antilla across the 30. Hammered down at the 32-yard line in the grasp of John Silvera. A 28-yard return, less than 90 seconds to go in this one. And just as we thank Larry Wall and his fine crew here at the University of Miami, our thanks to George Wine and the Sports Information Office, Phil Hattie and Steve Rowe. And, of course, always a pleasure to have Bump Elliott with us. Man that has been the athletic director at Iowa for 3 decades. Man that hired Hayden Fry, and Hayden, of course, the man that turned the Hawkeye fortunes around. And on the horizon for the Hurricanes, as the Hawkeyes are not through yet, our first look at Jim Hartlieb. A loose ball, and the Hurricanes have got it. Mark Caesar, number 76, fell on the loose ball. The fumble caused by Damon Bethel, number 46, the freshman. Bethel out of Philadelphia. Reminds a lot of the coaches of Daniel Stubbs. Damon Bethel's dad is a minister, and Damon is very active in summer camp work. Watch Bethel, left side of your screen. He'll cause the fumble, and then Caesar, 76, will get the recovery.
It's just been this kind of a day for the Iowa offense. It doesn't even matter which guys are in the game for Miami. They're just swarming over the quarterback and creating big plays.
And the Hurricanes will keep it on the ground, perhaps 2 more snaps. Patton, the freshman, gets the call. Started to say before the turnover, on the horizon for the Hurricanes, some big meetings. October 8th, Mike Tranghese, the commissioner of the Big East, will meet with the University of Miami officials, and Gene Corrigan, the head man of the ACC conference.
There was no gain on the play.
That's athletic director Sam Jankovic.
He's the man that Mike Tranghese will meet with. Of course, Miami's expressing interest. The conferences are expressing interest in the decision to come, they say, at the University of Miami by October the 16th as to whether or not the Hurricanes will compete in the Big East or the ACC, or perhaps a super merger of sorts. Florida State already in the ACC.
Defensive coordinator Bill Brazier for Iowa. He knows his team gave it a great effort, but they got worn down here in the 4th quarter. They've got to go back to Iowa and regroup because they open the Big Ten schedule next week in East Lansing against Michigan State.
As time winds down, the final will not be indicative of how good a game this was for 3 quarters. The Hawkeyes were down by only 10 on the last play of the 3rd quarter, and they were getting the ball back. But they fumbled it away. The Hurricanes went in to score, and they then scored 17 straight points. 2 gentlemen of the game right there, Hayden Fry, Dennis Erickson. Hayden turned the Iowa Hawkeye program around. Dennis inherited a national powerhouse and kept the tradition going, winning a national championship last year in his first season. It's been a good one on ComSat Sports from the Orange Bowl.